Hey guys, so today marks the 1 year anniversary of Cairn Guides being around. It's been a pretty interesting year since everything started, and I thought it would make sense to give some people a little bit of background and context of what started this whole thing. Because I like to think of it as not your just regular outdoor guide company, but a little bit more than that. But to first speak to how this whole thing started, back in April of last year. I was still working as a manager at a local psychiatric hospital, and at that point, I was not exactly loving my job. There were a lot of things that had taken place that started to have me kind of be um, really negative towards a lot of like the people that I worked with and just like the workplace in general. And I realized that it's like I'm not loving this, but maybe this is just kind of a rut. Maybe I can just kind of get through this kind of thing. But in late April, I came home from, I think it was like a 12-hour shift. Came home, and my roommate at the time was not responsive. He wasn't breathing. He was in the exact same position as he was when I had left earlier that morning. So immediately I realized that nothing or something was not right. So I started to kind of evaluate the situation while talking with 911. They came, did a whole bunch of different things. Long story short, he came out all right, which I was very grateful for. It was one of those really kind of like eye-opening experiences that you don't anticipate. Essentially, like the hospital to be at home. So there was that, and then a few weeks later, I also had my younger brother get in a pretty significant accident, get flown off a motorcycle. And at that point, I realized that it was like I got to find something else because I'm not enjoying work. Outside life is getting a little crazy. Like I need to change something. And prior to that, for a while, I started doing these Airbnb experience things that my younger brother had interestingly enough, introduced me to. Where I could like take people out on hikes and stuff like that, and you could make a little like extra money. It was kind of like a side gig thing, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Didn't really have any prior experience doing any like professional guiding, but knew enough about the trail. Nice enough person, kind of made it work, right? But after I started doing that for a little bit on the side, I realized that there was quite a bit of potential in that, and so I saw that as a way to at least make a little bit of money until I like figured out whatever it was that was next. And so I started doing that as a side thing. And the more I did it, the more I realized that there was a lot of opportunity and there was a lot of potential in this kind of thing. Just with my research and mental health background, I saw a huge opportunity in it. And overall, I really enjoyed it. Just getting to meet people from all over the world, play outside all day, and get paid. Like, what's really better than that? But what I didn't like about it was the fact that it was expected to be kind of this what I call canned experience. And I started doing some research and realized that everything out there is pretty much canned, where it's like they're doing the same thing again and again and again and again. And that's the aspect of it that I was not crazy about. And so I thought to myself, like, well, we have individualized treatment in like the hospital or in other, healthcare settings and stuff like that. Why not take that into the outdoors? Because a lot of that like the outdoors are not a one size fits all, and so I wanted to try to create something that allowed people, rather than trying to figure out what fits them, we as the outdoor experts or we as the people that live there can find what makes the most sense for them. And so that's what really kind of spawned the idea around like our mobile app, which I'll get into in a little bit. But essentially, I wanted to create a platform to where people can easily connect with outdoor experts to figure out like what type of, whether it be hiking, trail running, what have you, whatever type of outdoor adventure they were into. I wanted there to be experts because there's like a plethora of people who have been doing this stuff for years that have more experience than me even that could, really use their expert knowledge as well as their personality to really create positive experiences for people in the outdoors to hopefully get them hooked on that kind of thing. Because there's the obvious physical health benefits of going outdoors, but there's also huge mental health benefits. Being in a group of people, being in a setting where it's like safe, where you can talk about all kinds of different things. I'm sure you guys can think of different conversations you've had on the trail or in the water, whatever it is that, get kind of deep and can really kind of hit home for people, but it can make it all that much more enriching of an experience. And so I really wanted to kind of utilize all the potential that the outdoors has for people's public health, while also utilizing people's outdoor expertise to really find that adventure that like makes the most sense for them, whether they're trying to do the most, what's like the most challenging thing I can do. I can think of some people that maybe they just got out of a relationship, or they're just really in kind of a rut in life. What's something that we can help them accomplish to really start turning some gears? Or there's people who have literally never hiked in their life. For us to be a resource to where we can really facilitate that, teach them about some like the leave no trace principles, make sure that they're, recreating responsibly, and teaching them how to stay safe so they can go on to do this stuff themselves. I've never looked at us as a company that we're trying to be like this revolving door where we have people coming back again and again and again. I always said like that's awesome. Like I love getting back in touch with people that have hiked with us just to hear about the different experiences that they've gone on since then, in hopes that we really build their confidence to do this stuff themselves. So we can kind of be like hey, you linked up with us, we taught you some things, you got some safety tips, you've got a lot better grasp of whether it's like Colorado mountains, hiking, trail running, whatever it is. We've really set you up with a really solid foundation. So now you can go on to take that as shallow or as deep as you want. But that was kind of like the whole thought process behind the app, and just kind of figuring out what that layout was going to be. Took a little bit of thinking, but essentially we just wanted it to be really simple. We didn't need a whole bunch of bells and whistles, all these flashy things of people doing flips and stuff like that. Like we didn't want that. We wanted it to be as simple as possible so that people kind of knew what they were getting into if they had never done anything like this in their life, because that's really the type of people that we're trying to get outdoors more. We're really trying to target those folks who are considered underrepresented in the outdoor industry. And a lot of that is like women, those with 2 or more races, and those between the ages of 18 and 24, kind of like the primary demographics that we are trying to get outside more. And so by curating these experiences to make it be more personalized, improving access through the mobile app, and making it really cost effective, like we're not asking a lot in terms of payment. We're really just trying to make sure we can pay our bills, but ultimately we have people that want to just play outside, and if they can share their backyard with you, they're more than happy to. And so if we can kind of approach those primary obstacles of cost, access, we're really hoping that we can make a big impact on those specific demographics to get them outdoors more, and have them more accurately represented. So this whole idea started as kind of like a dream. And it's kind of like, I don't know, what are we going to do? Didn't know the first thing about how to create an app. And so went to a meetup. Fortunately, ran into this woman who connected with me with our now Chief Technology Officer, Piyush, who works with the algorithm. And he, essentially made a dream come true. And he kind of we talked about our idea, what we were trying to do, was really into it. And since then, we've made a lot of headway. Our app is still, developing every day. We're making a lot of improvements, working with like Fair Harbor, improving our booking software, all kinds of stuff. It is still very much in its developmental stage, but I, could not be happier with the fact that that we took this complete theoretical idea, maybe we could do it like this or whatever, and they made it a reality. And so I'm super thankful for Piyush and his team for helping, create this dream become a reality. So that has been awesome to see that develop. But one of the really interesting things that also I was looking at as this date was getting closer, because I knew our anniversary was coming up, and I was just kind of thinking about what is it all that we have accomplished, and it was actually quite a bit. We now have 11 guides that work through the company. And when it started, it was just me. I was the one that was doing all kinds of different hikes and stuff like that. And even though I still do a lot of the hikes, now that we have started to expand, our network is amazing. We want this eventually to be like a global thing. If it can get to that point, we're starting here in Colorado, but we're really hoping that this can expand and be a really positive thing. We also have some partnerships with some local companies like Athleta, Red Fox Outdoor Equipment have been awesome and kind of helping support us, and we can also support our clients. So if this is the first time that they are hiking or running or what have you, we can get them in touch with some really awesome companies and not break the bank. Because if it's the first time you're going hiking and you're really not sure, is this for me, is it not, and say you chuck up a couple $100 for some gear, that kind of leaves you feeling a little bit jaded. And so we wanted to offer people some discounts so that if they weren't crazy about it, hey, I really enjoyed the hiking but I prefer running type of thing or whatever, it wasn't going to completely break the bank. So I've been really appreciative of the different partnerships that we've had with them. Fair Harbor is another one that's helped with our booking software. But the number that I was that resonated the most with me, though, was the fact that we have had 540 people hike, run, do yoga with us in this last year. And I think about what that means and how we've started as a very small company and still are a very small company, but we've already come in contact with over 500 people, and I just want to see that number grow. And our mobile app is how we see that happening, to where we can teach people about Leave No Trace, that they're recreating responsibly. We can also help get them away from those like super popular places that I'm sure everybody's like familiar with, but we can show them those little secrets, or those places that are like, hey, I know everybody goes here, but there's actually this really cool place that not a lot of people talk about. So kind of helping disperse people a little bit, and just ultimately, like I said, getting them hooked on the whole getting outdoors thing. It's good for your physical health, mental health. You get to be around a group of really fun, energetic people, and so that energy tends to kind of have a ripple effect. But this whole concept has just really blossomed into something fantastic. And seeing that number 540, I would obviously like it to be higher, because the more people that come across us, the bigger impact we ultimately have. Because we also like to support local businesses by, whether it's shops, restaurants, what have you. We're always trying to give people recommendations in terms of kind of like where to go for that kind of stuff, so that we're, even if they don't have like, 1,000,001 5-star reviews, having that like locals perspective, like this is actually the spot you want to go for lunch, or this is the place that you want to go if you want to get like, shoes or what have you. So supporting local business is another component of the Cairn Guide model that we really try to have our guides really, evoke. And so all these different kinds of things have really, I couldn't have even dreamt of when I first started this thing, because to me this was a whole leap of faith, getting out of the comfort zone thing, and just ultimately just kind of saying, I know a little bit of what's going on, and the rest of it is just we're gonna kind of wing it. And so, but I've been really happy with how things have came along. I've really appreciated all the support that I've gotten from, whether it be like locals, local companies, local people, all the different partnerships that we've gotten with like the Algorithm, Red Fox, Athleta, and then just friends, family, that that's where it ultimately all starts, with everything. I also wanted to mention Summit Legacy, their cups that we're selling, Minds Project, all these different companies. Like the fact that we're all working as kind of like a community to support one another is just, to me, phenomenal. The fact that people were okay with just supporting this like random kid that came into their store and wanted to, they're like, yeah, like we'll give you discounts, or we'll help support you, whatever. I couldn't have asked for more. So it's been really awesome to have the support from a lot of different local companies and stuff like that. But ultimately, what I'm just trying to say is thank you to everybody for the ongoing support, everything you've done, whether it's a donation through our GoFundMe, advice you've given. I knew I was onto something when I would, need some legal advice, and it would just so happen that like a lawyer would sign up for a hike with me, so I'd kind of get some free advice or whatever. And so I knew we were onto something really cool here, and we continue to be on, developing and creating something really awesome. And so we hope that you guys will continue to support us, follow us through this journey, because it is a journey. It's just the beginning, but we're already off to a pretty good start. So I'm really excited to see all the different things that are going to come in the future. So again, thank you everybody for the ongoing support. It's been a year. It has been one hell of a year. But I just cannot thank everybody enough for the support, and I hope you continue to support us through this journey. The only thing I can leave with is good dreams. This whole thing started with a whole dream, and it has started to become a reality. So I hope this inspires everybody else out there to also pursue their dreams, whatever that is. But with that said, like I said, good dreams.
Well, guys, what do you...